Hi there. Welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday, and that means it's jazz. And today I'm going to continue on where we were last week, talking about the magazine JazzImprov. Now, just before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone that we have different themes, different days, right? It's jazz on Monday, classic rock Wednesday, and then just about anything else on Friday. And if you find something you like, we do have playlists. So we've kind of organized it all into one area. If you're into jazz, there's a playlist for that. Into classic rock, hey, we got one for that too. Into comedy, folk, classical music, it's all there, and it all has its own playlist. So if you find something you like, check out the playlist and check out some of the other artists we're talking about. Okay, today another look at the JazzImprov magazine that was available late 90s into the 2000s. See, today one of my favorites again, and you can maybe guess, I'm picking up the trumpet player ones, Dizzy Gillespie. It's a great magazine, interviews, profiles of the musicians, exclusive interviews in this one with Jon Faddis, Randy Brecker, Curtis Fuller, Marvin Stamm, and Dave Douglas. Get that a little closer for you. As well, we got a free CD inside, and those are what we're going to look at in a moment. We also have discussions with other trumpet players, since it's a trumpet theme one. This one had Cecil Bridgewater, Mark Isham, Sean Jones, Brian Lynch, Flip Oaks, Bobby Shue, and Ray Vega. And transcribed solos and lead sheets. I mean, the album had all these interviews, all those profiles. They also did lessons, improv lessons, transcribed solos, talking about different kinds of scales people can use. We also had album reviews. And we're looking at, about 305 pages in this magazine. It was a hefty book, but there's so much in it. Now, came with a hefty price tag too. This is 2004, so 18 years ago. The Canadian edition was $17.95, almost 18 bucks. I mean, that was a lot of money. I was filling my gas tank for $40, and I got $20 for a magazine. In the U.S., it was $13, so $12.95. So it was pretty expensive, but you got a lot with it. You got the magazine, you got all those profiles, solos, improvising tips, record reviews, plus the CDs. Now, I looked at a couple of CDs last week, and I'm going to show you the other two I have. Now, usually you got one with a magazine. Now, I'm going to go a little slower. Last week I kind of rattled through a lot of the names, and I know that was unfair. Now with the streaming networks, there's a chance to go back and check out some of these musicians. And I think that was the idea of the free CDs as well. Not only did it cover some of the people that are profiling, on this magazine you can see, obviously Jon Faddis going to be prominent. And the Jon Faddis CD is here. Now, show you the Clark Terry while we're going. And we talked about Clark Terry back quite a while ago. He was with the Oscar Peterson episode, if you check it out, where it was Clark Terry, Freddie Hubbard, and Dizzy Gillespie, and Oscar Peterson doing a little quartet gig. Okay, let's go back just on here again. I just want to mention a lot of these names may not be familiar. They weren't familiar with me when I found them. But the idea of these CDs were to expose you to new music. And now, again, with the streaming networks, everything's available to you. It's just a matter of getting the name, go ahead and check them out. So I'm going to try and go a little slower so you can actually get some of these names down if, it sounds like something you might want to check out. So let's take a look at the Clark Terry CD first. We got Dick Gardner on here, Dick Gardner being a trombone player, doing a song called The Big Beat, written by Gardner. We got Bradley Layton, and Bradley Layton, alto flute, doing a song called Carefree. 3D, Michael Tate on drums, Chris Emler on guitars, Ray Vega on trumpet, and Oscar Hernandez on piano, doing a song called My Love Will Return. Judy Silvano, vocalist, doing one called Our Love Is Here to Stay. Pretty standard tune, that one. Everybody should know that, Gershwin. Randy Sankey, who we mentioned in the profile on Widespread Jazz Orchestra. He was playing trumpet with them at one time. Well, Randy Sankey on trumpet here. We got Scott Robinson on sax, doing a song called Sounds of Smiting Steel, written by Sankey. Gerald Wilson, yes, we profiled him quite a while ago too, a big band leader. Wilson doing one of his songs, Musette. Eric Niemeyer. Now, Eric playing vibes. Eric's the one behind this whole project. He was looking after getting the magazines out, putting this all together, but he also features himself on the giveaway albums. And I mean, that's okay. It's okay. He was playing vibes. We got Graham Rhodes, who trombone player, doing one of his original songs called Cast the Soul. Dan McMillan, trumpet player. I think he was on last week's show as well. Flip Oakes may have been sponsoring his appearance at that time. He's doing a song by Nick Lane called Spirit of St. Frederick. We got Herb Silverstein, beach walker. Herb, piano player. Mark Pender, trumpet player. I mentioned him last week as well. He used to play trumpet with Conan O'Brien's house band when he was there, along with Bruce Springsteen's drummer. Rhythm and brass. Let me see who we have on here now. That's the one I'm not familiar with. Trumpet, we got Rex Richardson, Alex Schumann on French horn. Oh, I got French horn. That's kind of unique, eh? Tom Bradley on trombone, and Dave Gluck on drums. And final one on this one, Peter Erskine. And we've mentioned him during the Maynard Ferguson sessions, and probably a lot of other ones where he was a session player on it. Great drummer. He's doing a song of his called Plan 9. So, disc 1, Clark Terry disc. So hopefully there's some names in there. Check them out. I mean, most of them have albums out on the streaming network, so it's just so easy nowadays. Back in my day, we had to look around, find the albums, find the CDs. I mean, it was a real chore. Let's take a look at the Jon Faddis one that came. Again, we've got a lot of great people on here. The Clark Terry one was an enhanced CD, so it had extra things with it as well. So you could put it in your computer if you can find one that actually still has a CD slot and a program that'll run with something from 18 years ago. And there was lots of neat stuff they had included in there. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Continuum. We've got Kenny Barron on piano, Slide Hampton trombone, Jimmy Heath on saxophone, Ron Carter on bass, and they're doing a song called Ladybird. Corey Christensen, left hand, Big Dreams, and Christensen, the guitar player. We got Jeff Marks on Trading Air. Jeff, tenor saxophone player in there. Dan Jacobs, back again. Here's Dan Jacobs, trumpet player. Wow, doing a song by Bobby Shue called Blue. Bobby Shue also featured in this magazine. I think I mentioned that earlier. And nice to keep pulling him back because he's got lots of great information for the up-and-coming players. Dr. Michael White on clarinet, doing a song called Dancing in the Sky that he had written. We have Jon Faddis, of course, doing River Park. Not one of his songs, but everything he plays, he turns into one of his, doesn't he? Eric Niemeyer again with on Vibes, doing another one of his songs, The Real World. We got Jeff Coffin, Walking on Thin Water. Coffin, a saxophone player. Derek Jones playing bass, and we got Marvin Stamm in here, 3-in-1. Remember we talked about Marvin Stamm during, probably the first time was during the Chuck Mangione Mercury Years episode. And that was in the first 4 or 5 episodes we did. Stamm was a session player out of Toronto, and he was sitting in on on Chuck Mangione's Friends in Love concert. So that album. As well, he, I think, appeared on a couple of the CTI albums we talked about. I'm thinking like Bob James Diodato, where they used a lot of New York studio musicians on those albums. Okay, we've got Street Dancer doing a song called Velka. Let's see who's in Street Dancer here. James Mass on saxophone, Robert Long keyboards, Andrew Scott Potter on drums, if any of those names sound familiar to you. We got Bob Acre, and Bob's a piano player doing a song called Wake Robin that he had written. Jim McPhail's Big Bad Drummin' Dude. Well, let me guess. Stan Kenton Christmas album, what it's from. Song written by Matt Neese. And the last here, Dizzy Gillespie doing 2-bass hit. And it's Dizzy on trumpet, and it just says various artists. There's so many there that it's hard to name them. Okay, some great albums. Now, I mentioned last week, I just mentioned again in case you didn't see last week's episode, I've been on sites, I'm thinking eBay particularly, I'll see some of these magazines up for sale. Shipping costs, I mean, these things weigh a lot, so shipping costs are up there. But the other thing to watch when I go into the description, a lot of them have been open, they've been read, they're used, and there's rarely any mention of the included CDs. So if you're buying online, you may just be getting the magazine. If it doesn't say, or certainly check with the seller to see if the CDs are available, if you're interested in having the matching one that goes with the magazine. Okay, so that's it for today. Just a couple more freebie albums I picked out, but they're really samplers. Things to get your interest up and have you check out and maybe purchase or listen to some of the other music that these artists were producing. So they did their job. Like I say, nowadays it is so easy. Just jot down the name, punch it in, discover some new music. Certainly a number of people on here that I had not heard of, and when I listened to it, it was really interesting. If I had access to buying their albums, I probably would have picked up a few of those. So here's your chance. That's it for Monday. Memorial Day in the U.S. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. We'll see you on Wednesday when it's Classic Rock. Till then, everybody takes care. Stay safe. See you on Wednesday.